Hi everyone, welcome back to the Art of Business English. It's Andrew Ambrosius here again, and in today's episode we're going to be looking at vocabulary for describing profitability when in meetings. Okay, so basically what we'll be covering is some general vocabulary and some specific idiomatic expressions, okay, for describing profit and loss, and as well as that neutrality, okay? So today I've divided the episode into 3 parts, and by the end of this episode we will have reviewed the following, okay? So first we'll be looking at idioms for describing profitability in meetings. Then I'm going to give you some sample sentences, okay, using these idioms. And finally, I'm just going to go over some study tips and give you guys some ideas on how you can implement these idioms. Okay, so let's get started and take a look at some idioms for describing profitability in meetings. Okay, so welcome back. All right. Now, if we find ourselves in a meeting or a situation where we need to discuss the profitability of our products or services, then we should be using some of the following expressions. What's interesting, I just would like to point out, is the pronunciation, okay? When we have these able or ability, we use the neutra, okay? So we say profitability, not profitability, okay? It's profitability, okay? So that's just a side note on the pronunciation of profitability. So let's continue then. Below, I've divided the expressions into 3 categories, okay? So firstly, there are idioms for products or services which are losing money, okay? Nobody likes that. Then products that neither make nor lose money, okay? And finally, the best products and services, those that make money. So let's get started by taking a look at some idioms and expressions for losing money, all right? Now, what I've done is I've divided the idioms into 3 categories, okay? You've got the idiom, the meaning, and then the translation in Spanish, okay? So let's start with the first one, which is to make a loss. Okay, so to make a loss means to lose money. And in Spanish, that would be sufrir pérdidas. Okay, next one, to be loss-making. To be loss-making. Okay, so to be loss-making means unprofitable. So unprofitable, the translation is generador de pérdidas. Okay, generador de pérdidas. Okay, next one, to be a loss leader. Now, this is interesting. So to be a loss leader is a product that is sold cheaply in order to attract the public and make them buy other more expensive things, okay? Una oferta gancho, okay? All right, next one, sold at a loss, okay? So sold at a loss, important here is the preposition at. So sold at a loss. So that is something that is sold for less than the real cost of the product. So vender con pérdidas. Next one, to be losing money on. Again, here you need the preposition on, okay, not in. To be losing money on. And to be losing money on means to be worth less than the original investment. So, estar perdiendo dinero en, okay? Estar perdiendo dinero en. So, don't confuse the preposition on with in, okay? The correct preposition is to be losing money on. Next one, and this one's interesting, it's to be underwater. To be underwater. So this is to owe more money than your net worth, or to owe more money than the credit that you used to buy the investment if the investment is worth less in terms of value than the money that you borrowed from the bank to buy that investment, for example, a house, then you are underwater. So, deber más el banco por un crédito que lo que vale la inversión. Okay, this happens a lot with properties. Okay, next one, to cut one's losses. To cut one's losses. Now, to cut one's losses is to abandon an investment that will continue to lose money and at the same time accept a loss. Okay, so you decide to accept that you will lose some money in order to not lose more money, because you know that this investment will continue to lose money. So it's accepting failure, basically. So terminar de perder dinero y vete. Okay, to cut one's losses. Now remember, with one's, this is the infinitive form, so this needs to be transformed. So we use the possessive pronoun my, your, his, her, etc. Okay, so to cut my losses, or to cut your losses, or to cut his losses. All right, so let's move on to the last one for losing money, which is money loser. So a money loser. Money loser is a product, service, or business that does not make a profit. Okay, un producto que pierde dinero. All right, so that's basically a money loser. We don't really like these types of products or services. Okay, so now that we have covered loss-making idioms, let's take a look at some expressions for describing products and services that neither make nor lose money. Okay, so this is the breaking even section. Let's begin with the first one. So to break even. All right, to break even. So to break even is to have income equal to expenditure. So in Spanish, that would be salir a la par or salir al ras. Okay, so salir a la par or salir al ras. So that is to break even. The next one is to reach break even point. So to reach break even point. And to reach break even point basically means the point at which the income from sale of a product or service equals the invested costs, resulting in neither profit nor loss. Okay? And again in Spanish, that would be llegar el punto de equilibrio. Right, let's go on to the next one. To balance the books. Okay, so to balance the books. Now, this is an accounting term, and to balance the books means to bring two sides into equilibrium. This, again, is neither losses nor earnings. So in Spanish, that would be equilibrar las cuentas. All right. And finally, the last one for breaking even is to recover costs or expenses. Okay. So when you recover your costs or you recover your expenses, you are earning enough money to pay for the initial cost of the investment. Okay. So basically that is quite simply recuperar costes. Okay, so that's a great place to be as well. Now, finally, we can look at the best idioms, and these obviously are those for being profitable and making money. Everybody wants to be making money. Now, the first one for being profitable is to be profitable. Okay, so this is yielding profit, and in Spanish it would be rentable. Okay, so to be profitable is yielding profit, and it's rentable. The next one is to be profit making. Okay, to be profit making. Something that generates more in earnings than costs. Okay, so algo que genera beneficio. All right, so we love things that are profit making. Now, the next one is great. Everyone wants a money spinner. Okay, a money spinner. Okay, that's spinner. Money spinner, but the pronunciation is spinner because it's neutra in ER. So money spinner is an idea, a product or service that easily generates a lot of money. So basically in Spanish is una mina de oro. All right, everybody wants a money spinner. Right, let's look at the next one, and that is also a fantastic thing to have. It's a cash cow. Now, a cash cow is any business venture or operation or product that is a dependable source of income or profit. So a cash cow is a great product or service to have in a business because it guarantees a constant flow of income. And in Spanish, it's una gallina de los huevos de oro. Okay, so in English, it's a cow, and in Spanish, it's a chicken. All right. So the next one is to make a mint or to make a killing. And to make a mint or to make a killing is to make a large sum of money. Okay, and basically it's simply hacer una fortuna. Okay, so you can see here that nothing related to killing people. It's about killing the business, I guess. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense if we translate it directly. Okay, so to make a mint or to make a killing. And finally, to make a profit. All right, to make a profit is basically just to generate more money in income than expenses. All right, and it's obtener beneficio. All right, so those are idiomatic expressions for making money. Now, you'll need to be very careful with the collocations here. So it's make and not do. Okay, so make a profit, not do a profit. And then you also have to understand the meaning of things like cash cow, money spinner, etc. So there we have a series of idioms for describing unprofitability, neutrality, and profitability. Okay. In the second part of this episode, I'm going to give you guys just some sample sentences with these expressions in use. Okay. So let's take a look at some sample sentences. Again, I've divided them into three categories. First, we'll do the unprofitable category. Then we'll look at the neutral category. And finally, the profitable category. So the first one, let's go. Unfortunately, on our premium line of skincare creams, we are making a loss due to high marketing costs in this quarter. Okay, so the next one, my company is underwater. Staffing costs are overtaking profit and putting us into the red. Finally, we need to cut our losses and pull out of this deal, otherwise we will go bankrupt. Okay, so let's look now at the next one, which is neutral. So after initially investing a lot of money in development and production costs, the company has finally broken even. So here the infinitive is because this is a verb, to break even. Obviously, if we conjugate that verb, here it's in present perfect, then we need to transform it. Okay, so the company has finally broken even. So break, broke, broken. Remember, that is an irregular verb. Okay, so it's important that when we do use these expressions, we transform them correctly depending on which verb tense we're using. Okay, let's look then at the next one. Before we can go to the market to raise some capital, we need to balance the books or we won't have any leverage. Okay, so the next one is, and the last one for neutral, I'm hoping to recover my costs within the first year of business. So the final one is, I'm hoping to recover my costs within the first year of business. Okay, so let's then look at the next one, which is profitable. This new business model is a real money spinner. We practically have very little in outlay. Okay, outlay is expenses. Okay, we are looking to make a profit of between $10 and $12 million this year. And finally, we are making a killing this year. The economy is strong and consumer sentiment is high. Okay, so those are some of these sentences in use. All right, so again, in the last part, I would like to give you guys some tips on how you can start to use these expressions and put them into action. Okay, so let's turn then and look at the last part, which is some study tips. All right, so as always, you know, we need to study idioms and expressions within context. I've said it many times before. What I've done with the three categories today will make it quite easily for you to apply these expressions into the correct context. Okay, so you know, neutrality, profitability, or unprofitability. So what are the best ways then to grab these expressions and make the most out of them? Well, the first step is obviously to review the list. If you are listening to the podcast, then you should come over to the AOBE website and bookmark the page and make sure that you review the post, okay, with all of the expressions. make sure that you understand the meaning of each expression, as there are the translations that will help you, okay? And then once you feel confident you understand that meaning, or the meaning of the various expressions, then you need to choose one from each of the three categories. So choose one from the loss-making category, one from the neutral break-even category, and one from the profitability category. And then just write down those three expressions or idiomatic expressions on a separate piece of paper, okay? And then have a quick think and decide when or where you would like to use or apply these expressions in your daily business life. Okay, so for example, on this little piece of paper, you could try and use them in your next meeting, okay, or presentation. If you're giving a presentation about forecasts or a report on sales, then you can easily apply these to your products and services, okay? And then as well, which is very easily, you can apply them or include them in your emails, okay? Because then you can have this little piece of paper with you at your desk, okay? And you can refer to it and then place the expressions in your emails. It's much easier if you have time to think about it and plan, okay? And when you feel comfortable using these three expressions, I recommend you come back to the list at the AOBE website using the bookmark that you created earlier, and then you can choose three new expressions and repeat the process over again, okay? So that really is all we have time for today, and I hope that this episode has been useful as always. Remember to please share the podcast or post with your friends. This is really the best way to help us reach more people, and then we can help as many people as possible with their business English too. And as always, I really look forward to reading your comments and answering your questions, so be sure to send them over. And if you have any doubts, then let me know, because I'm really happy to clear those up for you and answer any of your questions. If you do have any topics that you really would like me to prepare, then let me know, because I'm more than happy to prepare any material for people to help them improve their business English. Well, till next week, that's all we have time for, and I look forward to having you again at the Art of Business English. So have a great week and take care. Bye for now.